And welcome back. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner of Data Under the Sea, we have the Peruvian Zerg player himself representing the CranKy Ducklings. It is Ryu. And spawning in the top right hand corner of Data Under the Sea in this Copa Hyperion 49 semi-finals match, we have the Brazilian Protoss representing Team Hellfire. It is MasTeR. Here we go. These two players have been facing off quite a lot in these last couple of months, but again, Ryu has been on about a 4 to 5 week hiatus. He has been taking that break. Now he's diving back into things. He's getting back into that competitive spirit. And how good is his ZvP going to be? We have seen that specifically against the hero style, Ryu is looking quite strong. Like, he loves going for his heavy Ling Hydra into Lurker style, and he's had a lot of success specifically against MasTeR. But what he struggles a little bit more with is the more unorthodox plays, you know, playing against Glaive Adept openers or the Glaive Adept follow-ups even, you know, from a Stargate into Glaives. It's where Ryu can sometimes be caught off guard a little bit. So there are definitely weaknesses, or there are definitely things that you can try and exploit here as a Protoss against Ryu, but we'll see. We'll see if MasTeR can stop him from getting into his famed lurkers. As Ryu is the lurker king of Latino America for a reason, and we may see that. We may see that this series. Let's go. So far, pretty standard openers. MasTeR did force the unnatural natural out of Ryu, as we would expect here. The Lings come out just, of course, away this probe, and Ryu can take his third base. Meanwhile, across the map, MasTeR did open up with a Stargate. This is, again, very standard in current meta. Twilight Council openers are what's a little bit more unorthodox, but this is what we should see. This is what we should expect. As Ryu is dipping on in, he confirms that we do have an Adept follow-up here, which again is kind of what we expect as well. You know, everything is looking normal, and Ryu is going to dip in with his Overlord, spots the Stargate, confirms, and from here, he's going to quickly dip on out as well. What he wants to do here is figure out what the first unit is going to be, and whether or not he has to pull back his Overlords now or later. And we can see Oracle first. So a very nice scout there by Ryu, again being very careful with his Overlords, doesn't want to lose them needlessly to any kind of stray Stalker fire. As Ryu just gets his bases up and running, and there we go, spores are being thrown down on time as well at the 3:30 mark to make sure that we don't lose too many of these Oracles. And now the next question for us is, okay MasTeR, we open with an Oracle, how many more Oracles from here? Well, we already see a second Oracle is on the way, so we at least have a double Oracle opener. There we go, we do have the third base, so this should be triple Oracle into Blink Stalkers. Should be. First Oracle moves out and chips away at some larva. Ooh, very quick eggs being morphed in there, but one larva does go down. Only one so far though, and it looks like MasTeR isn't going to be able to find too much more damage. He does get forced all the way back. Ooh. And from here, there is that Twilight Council. But this Twilight Council is looking a little bit sus. There's something missing here, and I wonder if that's intentional or not. So a couple of things. One, MasTeR didn't make a third Oracle. He only made two, so he's saving his gas. He's not being as aggressive. He's, you know, just preserving that gas for a little bit later. He also isn't getting a Forge, only a Twilight Council. I'm feeling Glaives. We'll see if it's going to be Glaives or Blink. Oh, okay. Thank God. I was really scared. We do have Blink on the way. MasTeR kind of doing this in a little bit of a different style here. Not quite hero. It's going to be his own variant. Off of that hero style, I should say. Going to be delaying his Forge upgrades for more Stalkers, I imagine. There we go. The Forge now being thrown down. But again, later than what we usually expect. And what's important is that this is all in vision of the Overlord of Ryu. Ryu doesn't even have to dive in to scout this. He sees the Twilight Council. Because he sees the Forge, he can piece it all together, and he knows that it's going to be Blink Stalkers. Regardless, we do have a safety Roach Warren on the way here. +1 range, not +1 melee on the way for Ryu, which again makes sense. Ryu doesn't typically go for the Ling heavy style. He's more akin to try and transition into Hydras if he is given the option. Meanwhile, Ryu's been able to drone up quite nicely here on his 3 bases. We should be seeing a 4th relatively soon. There we go, 4th on time, on the way. And what's interesting is that he's investing even further in roaches, so he's going to be going for a roach heavy comp instead. Burrow is on the way, I imagine intentionally. Are we going to be seeing some tunneling claw roaches? Yeah, we are. Oh my god, I was curious, was it a mistake or was it a reality? We have 2 roach warrens here for a double upgrade timing. Ryu gonna be being a little bit fancy here. Oh my god. We'll see if this gets scouted. The triple oracle is gonna dip in and oh, it flies a little bit close to the sun, and I wonder if MasTeR is even aware about what he just saw. He takes down 2 queens, not bad damage. Ugh. At the cost of 2 oracles. Now I'm suddenly not so sure. 2 queens for 2 oracles. Meanwhile, we do have a little bit of stalker pressure here. Not going to find too much damage. Again, it's just pressure. It isn't a major push or anything like that. And MasTeR did see both roaches. But again, did he see them? Like, does it connect in his mind what he did just see? And what it means and what it implies? Because back at home, we don't have cannons. Not yet, and if he doesn't throw them down soon, then Ryu is going to get away with this. Oh boy. Meanwhile, here we go. The MasTeR roaches are going to be able to force this back once again. MasTeR not really applying too much pressure. He doesn't really... He's warping in. He's continuing to reinforce, which is interesting because he doesn't have a warp prism. He also doesn't have a proxy gateway either. So he doesn't have too much momentum, or he can't get too much momentum with these pushes. Gonna get forced all the way back, and from here Ryu goes for a bit of a roach run by. Oh my god, he's crazy. The cannons are on the way now, but they're on the way as a response. MasTeR had no idea behind this. Ryu threw down a Hydra, and he's going to be switching into Hydras, eventually into Lurkers. But the roaches, they're coming out, and they're going to be dealing a lot of damage. Roaches in the main, roaches in the natural, roaches at the 3rd base as well. Overcharge is forced to be popped, and that means that Ryu's main army can hit that 4th at the same time. And as if on cue, there we go. We are skipping out on Hydra upgrades. We're going straight to a Lurker Den and an Infestation Pit. Again, Ryu, he's going for the 1-2 punch. He wants to distract his opponent with roaches. He has to keep these roaches alive. And again, he is buying time and also crippling the economy, both at once. You don't see this enough. We still have roaches here at the 4th base of MasTeR. Lurker Den is about to finish up. There are those Hydra upgrades that we were waiting for. We still have a mass amount of roaches available for Ryu. Again, he doesn't want to die to a counterattack. He doesn't want to be too greedy. He doesn't want to save too much resources for the Hydras, because if he does, I mean, that's a window for MasTeR to just kill him. So he has to be very careful with how he produces Hydras and how he produces Lurkers. For the time being, MasTeR can only see roaches, and looking at the vision here, MasTeR hasn't seen the transition. He hasn't seen the tech of choice here for Ryu. He can assume Ryu is very stylistic. Everyone knows that he loves Lurkers. That's just how Ryu plays. So MasTeR can assume, but it's really hard to play StarCraft in that manner. You have to confirm what it is your opponent's doing. Meanwhile, we have a bit of a Zealot run by here on the right-hand side. About to rock up here on the fresh 5th base here of Ryu. A little bit of a feels bad, man. We should be seeing a cancel. Up! Ugh, kill, not a cancel, as Ryu was a little bit distracted here with the main army. Same time, it looks like those roaches earlier have all been cleaned up. We have a massive investment into all these cannons as well. Stalkers are trying to do what they can, but with only +1 attack, they cannot break on through. And there we go. Every single Hydra has just been morphed into a Lurker. 6 Lurkers are now on the way. Hive is on the way as well for those Lurker upgrades. Zealot run by gets cleaned up, and Ryu should be attempting to retake his 5th. There we go. It's on the way. And now with these Lurkers, there is literally no chance for MasTeR to break this location. He cannot push up this ramp. MasTeR's aware of that. He's going into triple Robotics Bay. Ooh, that is a massive transition into Disruptors or Colossi. I imagine Disruptors, but we'll see. He could even just go Mass Immortal. Immortals can work as well against low amounts of Lurkers. But again, Ryu very quick here to transition. Looks like it's not going to be Immortal, as he is waiting for that Bay to finish up and get into as many Disruptors as possible. I'm gonna be shocked if he goes Colossus. I mean, he can go both. Why not? ¿Por qué no los dos? As the soldiers are trying to bust their way through, and they will, because there's only a single lurker to defend. Ryu, under defending his third base, is going to cost him the hatchery. So MasTeR still finding weak points here in the armor of Ryu, in the defenses of Ryu. But that Towns is on the way. We do have the rest of our lurker upgrades. But there are those disruptors. So MasTeR will have an answer soon, TM, but not right now, because Ryu is maxed, and he wants to make use of these lurkers. Do have a bit of another zealot run back here on the 5th base. Even if Ryu loses the space, it doesn't matter. It's not the end of the world. Ryu has cut workers at 68, 69 drones. Nice. And he wants to break through, but the disruptors are here. Ooh. And without Vipers, it's going to be a hard nut to crack. He's going to dive on forward. He does get a kill on one of the disruptors. He gets both, but another massive shot goes off. And Ryu has to let off. Vipers are on the way, but they're on the way as a response. They're not here now. Ugh. And here we go with the counterattack. MasTeR's gonna pick up one lurker after the other. Ryu's in a lot of trouble right now. He just doesn't have a lot of gas to work with. He doesn't have a lot of drones to work with. Ooh. 3 more lurkers go down. And again, this lurker switch was supposed to be a kill move here for Ryu. And it just hasn't worked out that way. We have 40 Lings on the way, which is cool, but there are no melee upgrades. Meanwhile, maybe Ryu has bought enough time because he has 3 Vipers, and we all know that Ryu, he's all about that Hydra Lurker Viper, or at least Lurker Viper control. If anyone can do it, he can. Meanwhile, Ryu's attempting to double expand. He's still stuck on 4 bases. Oh god, he needs to get one of these up and running. We do see that MasTeR is aware of that. He's gonna try and, oh god, try and rotate around. Another massive Nova goes off. Oh, that one though misses. The Vipers are here, and now Yoinks are gonna be coming out for Ryu. Is he gonna go for all of them? Is he gonna go for the fight? I don't know if this is gonna be the best move here. He actually 0 Novas connect. The best fight that Ryu could have hoped for. There we go. A couple more Yoinks come in. 2 more disruptors go down. At one moment, we had 8 disruptors. Now we are down to 3. So Ryu, again, making the most out of these Vipers. And he protects both hatcheries. One hatchery, at least. It is now up and running. We have Spines on the way. We do have a defensive lurker. The army's pushing out once again into lurker fire. So 2 lurkers go down there. We have some energy. We have enough energy for maybe 1 more abduct. Ryu playing with fire right now. And forced to cancel the top left-hand base. Yeah, with the revelations, I don't know if this is the best move. He goes for 1 more yoink, goes for a blinding cloud as well. But the purification Novas do connect at the same time. 2 lurkers are going to be able to deny the top left-hand base here for MasTeR. There's no way for him to really defend this. Ryu actually going to split up, but there are cannons. Not behind the mineral line. And Ryu is going to deny mining here. And MasTeR's going to respond. Oh boy. Probes? Hello? A lot of inactive workers for MasTeR. Next side's gonna go down. Workers are falling left and right here. Ryu is buying so much time. MasTeR basically just paralyzed here in the center of the map, where Ryu can just continue to expand and just regather that energy, suck on some buildings, and get his Vipers ready. Again, there was a period here where MasTeR was up 25 workers to Ryu, and Ryu has slowly closed that gap. He doesn't have the economic advantage that we would expect, don't get me wrong, but MasTeR can't even make full use of his probes. Yo, and there are the yoinks. Ooh. A lot of yoinks, but a lot of Novas still go off regardless. Jesus Christ, there are just so many disruptors. Ryu doesn't take a good fight. But it's still okay because of this one MVP lurker. Finally it's gonna go down, but after wreaking so much havoc. Meanwhile, what are our armies looking like? We have 11 lurkers ready, 10 more on the way. Looks like it's gonna be enough lurkers here to slow down the advance of the Protoss. 4 Vipers. We need more energy, though. We need to suck on some. There we go. Mass Lurker Viper here against Disruptor Archon. Do we have Storm? No Storm. Okay, just Disruptor Archon. Ryu just double expanding, taking 2 more bases. Lurker once again here in position, mate. We need cannons, papi. Oh. Ryu, now for the first time in a long time, Ryu is ahead in workers. 14 probes just went down to the 1 Lurker. And here we go. The Vipers are finally topped up. Oh. We're looking to try and get a yoink there. At the same time, we do have a bit of a dance going on. MasTeR does have High Templar here just for feedbacks. At the same time, a Zealot run by runs into a wall of roaches and lurkers. Zealots aren't going to do anything. And MasTeR can't expand. He's stuck on 5 bases. Really, he's stuck on 4 bases because he just cannot mine from his 4th. 5th, sorry. He cannot push in. Meanwhile, Ryu is just banking up more economy, more resources, going for the double Nidus here. 1 in the natural, 1 in the main. And MasTeR, I don't think he's seen it. He's not responding. He only sees 1. Oh, no. And this is going to be the kill move. Here we go. The Nidus is doing a finishing. MasTeR has to respond. He has to make a choice, and he's pushing in. He's pushing into lurkers. Oh. I love that only a handful of lurkers come out here. Again, Ryu knows that he cannot let up on the front line. Speaking of, there are those abducts. We have feedbacks to retaliate, but there were still so many abducts. No more disruptors remaining, only 1. GG gets called. Ryu takes the first game, pulling apart his opponents. The lurkers in the bases of MasTeR were not being cleaned up. There were enough good yoinks there, enough disruptors went down where with the mass amount of lurkers, MasTeR could have maybe taken 1 fight, maybe, but couldn't have continued. GG. Oh. Oh my god. That was crazy. That was absolutely insane. Again, I was really worried when Ryu first came out with his lurkers and he didn't do anything with them. If you remember, he went for a big push at the triangular third of MasTeR, and there were cannons already set up. You know, he was trying to push up into the high ground, and the disruptors came out just in time for those lurkers, and Ryu missed his timing. Like he absolutely missed it, and he was on the back foot from that moment. He was down in workers, he was down in bases, he was down in army, he was down in almost every respect. But despite that, he was able to just control and make use of what little he had in the most efficient ways possible. We saw how much damage, you know, 1, 2, 3 lurker run-bys, the roach run-bys as well with Burrow, remember? Just keeping the economy low, keeping MasTeR busy. Ah, GG. GG. Rico. I see Yoda in the chat, the Viper Lord himself. Yes. The Lurker King, Papi, the Lurker King. Let's go. Ah. Ay. Oh my god. Diego's in the chat? Ay. Bienvenidos, Papi. Bienvenidos. Darkness, welcome, Papi, welcome. I hope everything's been going well. The last I heard from Darkness, I remember on Twitter, he said, yo, I think it was if Creator wins GSL, I'll play again. I'll stream again and I'll play some StarCraft. I think it was for Creator, and then Creator came second, unfortunately. It feels bad, man. Feels bad, man, at the start of the year. But it's good to see you again, Darkness. It's good to see you again. Oh my god, hold on. There's so much happening in the chat. We gotta catch up. Hello, Dave Testa. Hello. Yoda, Dave. When do we get more Yoda stories? That was the best part. The best part about our cast together is Yoda would always have something crazy to say. Always. Alright, here we go. Because spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Cosmic Sapphire, we have our Peruvian Zerg player himself. Currently up 1-0 in this best of 3 semifinals match, representing the CranKy Ducklings. It is Ryu. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Cosmic Sapphire, we have our Brazilian Protoss representing Team Hellfire. It is MasTeR. Yeah, I do see Cream Puff in the chat. Is MasTeR a new player? I haven't seen him before. MasTeR has been around for a long time, but he recently kind of leveled up, maybe December of last year, where I think Yoda should remember this. For a long time, MasTeR was kind of in the middle of the pack. Like, there was a clear distinction between MasTeR and players like Paco Mike and Shakti, aka Nano, and Zions, and Darkness and Dastan. Like, MasTeR was like more of an up-and-coming player like in 2020 and the majority of 2021, but towards the very end, like, he kind of, I don't know, maybe he devoted more time to practicing, maybe he just like was able to find like just some way to, or something that he was lacking to improve upon, and MasTeR has solidified himself as one of the best Protosses in Latin America right now. Like, he's been improving a lot and doing really well for himself. It's been really impressive to see the journey that MasTeR has been on. So yeah, it's been really cool to see him improve over time. And now I would say that MasTeR is peaking in his career, doing better than he ever has been. And, you know, he can take it to the big names here. Players like Ryu, like Jim Rising, like the Zerg Lord, for example. Yeah, it's really cool to see. Big W for the Zergs. Look, if there's ever a safe place for Zergs, it's here in Latino America, okay? Protoss may reign supreme in other regions, like North America. But here in Latino America, you know, this is a safe place for Zergs. You know, we got Ryu, we got Eggs, we got Jim Rising, Chan, the Zerg Lord. Oh, it's okay, it's okay. But here we go. We'll see how things differ here, as so far MasTeR going for the same opener, going for his Stargate play. We saw that last game he opened up double Oracle into Twilight Council, so he wasn't too concerned with dealing too much economic damage across the map, more concerned with taking up a little bit faster. We'll see if he does something similar or plays a little bit safer instead. As it was even great to see Ryu rock out with the borrowed roaches, with the double roach warren timing. Let's not forget about that. Ryu had 2 roach warrens. He was crazy, Papi. He was crazy. Yeah, it was insane to see. It's just not a build you see too often, and to see it work so well, only Ryu can do that. Only Ryu. Meanwhile, across the map, Ryu did poke in once again with his Overlord. Again, just dipping in, edging, if you will. It does confirm that Oracles are on the way. And Ryu was responding with something a little bit different here. Interesting. He's going for a fast Evo chamber. Very fast Evo chamber. This should be for +1 melee, so this could mean that Ryu is reading, especially with this faster third base. Okay, you're gonna go for that hero style again. I'm gonna go for +1 melee Lings. Gonna go for a faster +2 melee timing. And we've seen a lot of success with that, but we'll see. As there we go, there is that upgrade. And this Oracle of MasTeR is a little bit too preoccupied here at the natural. He doesn't go into the main. Not going into the main means he does not see the Evo chamber. He's a little bit in the dark as to what Ryu is doing here, but I'm also not entirely convinced whether or not he's going to commit and go into Blink or not. There we go. Every time I'm like, oh, is he gonna go Glaives? Nah, it's okay, it's okay. We do have Blink on the way, so MasTeR just doing this exact same thing he did last game, basically. Looking at the units, yep, double Oracle into Twilight Council, delays the Forge, gets it a little bit later. So it doesn't have too much focus on his upgrades. And I think this is a good thing for Ryu, because MasTeR is going to be rushing out these Blink Stalkers, and something that is amazing against Blink Stalkers are +1 and eventually +2 melee links. And this is also a smoother transition into Hydras. We all know that Ryu, he loves his, maybe not loves his Hydras, he loves his Lurkers. And going from Ling, preserving your gas, this time not making a bunch of roaches, and going into Lurkers a little bit faster, I imagine is what Ryu is going to want to do. As we have a 4th base on the way, his 3rd already completely saturated here. We're only working with 2 gases right now because, again, we don't need a lot of gas. We only need a lair. Once the lair is done, then we can start working on tech. Until then, we have a mass amount of lings, and with these lings, we can push out, we can have map control. MasTeR, I don't believe he has spotted the amount of lings that Ryu is working with, and moving out with his Stalkers right now I think would be a bit of a mistake. Ooh, and he wants to be aggressive. He's throwing down a reinforcing pylon here in the center of the map. He's setting up some stasis traps. Meanwhile, as the lair finishes, there is the Hydra Den for that Ling Hydra Lurker. Only now, finally, Ryu is taking the rest of his gases to saturate to get into that higher tier of tech. Until then, though, Lings are perfectly fine to defend. Lings and Queens are all you need right now, unless a juicy stasis goes off. Oh, I love this. Here we go. Ryu going for a mass surround. MasTeR blinks away from the stasis traps, and he gets fully surrounded. Oh no, I don't blame him. He was being zoned away because of the surround. MasTeR, he just had a really awkward kind of escape route, and as a result, he loses the majority of his Stalkers. We do see a massive stasis trap, but mate, he just lost 10 Stalkers, and going for this hero style, you need to preserve your Stalkers. You cannot lose them like that. Ay, ay, ay. Meanwhile, the stasis trap is about to run out. Ryu, ooh, a little bit supply blocked right now, so doesn't have that much to work with. Forced to disengaged. He cannot surround this, not yet, unless it goes deep into creep. Uh-oh. Forces a blink for now. Meanwhile, the gases have been saturated. Hydras are on the way. Hydra upgrades as well. Ryu just needs a little bit more time. Again, that supply block really slowed him down. There we go, the Lings are rocking on. We do have a couple of Zealots to support, and they're going to be doing so much here against these Lings, especially utilizing the Stalkers to body block. Ryu, he's losing too much. Losing too much too soon. Hydras are coming out, but they don't have enough support, and this may be it. MasTeR may have a little bit too much momentum. Queens are falling left and right. We do have more Lings on the way, but it may just not be enough. Here we go, the desperation move here of Ryu is forced to pull the boys. But there just aren't enough Lings and there aren't enough Hydras. Field supply block, man. G gets cold and MasTeR ties up the series 1-1. Oh my god. There was that moment where Ryu was making 4, maybe 5 overlords. He was stuck at 103 supply. Oh god, that was just the worst time. And as he was supply blocked, he then went for the fight. So he just lost a little bit too much there. I think he needed to recognize that he just had to give it the 4th base. It's not something that is ideal. You don't want to do it. It doesn't feel good losing your 4th like that. But because of what was happening, because of the situation, like it had to be done. Oh, GG. GG, well played. We have an ace match. We are going to game 3. Here we go. Oh my god. The players were real quick to load up and get into that game. That means that there won't be any flags on the screen. Bit of a feels bad, man. Bit of a feels bad. Oh, but we are loading on in to the ace match, game number 3, and it's going to be on Tropical Sacrifice. And spawning in the top right hand corner of Tropical Sacrifice, we have our Peruvian Zerg player representing the CranKy Ducklings. It is Ryu. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tropical Sacrifice, we have the Brazilian Protoss player representing Team Hellfire. It is MasTeR. Ay, ay, ay. Again, much more aggressive plays coming up from MasTeR in that last game, and it looked like Ryu was handling at least the initial push very well, incredibly well. He just shut down those Stalkers. He had more Lings on the way. He was transitioning into Hydras. Everything looked fine, but there were a couple of things that went wrong for him. The stasis trap going off was the stasis trap going off was a little bit brutal. On top of that, on top of just that stasis trap going off, we saw that the supply block as well. I didn't quite see if Ryu was losing overlords or he had just forgotten to make overlords, or maybe a combination of the two, but that did just completely slow him down. And from here we go to the ace match. Oh boy. Just catching up in the chat. Yoda, I got some new ones too. Oh god. I think my favorite one, I know it's a bit traumatic, my favorite one is always going to be the lily pad story. I love it. No, I said a lily pad story. I guess that was in conjunction with riding on the hood of a car story. Ay, ay, ay. God. Yoda, he's crazy. He's crazy. But yeah, for now, we're just getting back into our series here. We'll pile on here towards the back of the main base. Very hidden, very safe. It's going to be... Ryu's going to have to work that much harder to try and scout and figure out what the tech is going to be. Is it going to be a Twilight Council opener? I have to wonder why MasTeR is trying to keep this as hidden as possible. We will find out. Oh my god! He is crazy. Ay, ay, ay. It is not going to be a Twilight Council opener. It is in fact going to be a Robo opener. He's crazy, puppy. Alright, people in the chat. What's it going to be? Colossus or Disruptor drop? Colossus drop or Disruptor? It's going to be one. It is going to be one. Which one? We'll find out. As Ryu is still in the dark, he does have an Overlord going into the main base now, but it's going to take a long time to scout. We should have a Stalker on the way. It's on the way, but it's not ready yet. So Ryu may still be able to see this. Oh boy. Meanwhile, on the side of Ryu, everything is still looking pretty standard. We have a third hatchery on the way. Drones are on the way as well, as we would expect here from a Zerg player. Ryu, he's forced to commit. He has to go all the way in with his Overlord, and he does spot the Robo first. At the same time, second Overlord is diving into the natural. What is this Robo going to be for? Is MasTeR waiting until the Overlord dies? There we go. Overlord goes down, and there is the Bay. Now, couple of things as Ryu is scouring the edge of the map. Because of this Robo in the main, there's a possibility that there could be a Dark Shrine on the map. That's the thing, right? It could still be a Twilight Council opener as well. For the most part, Ryu has like kind of crossed that off the list. He went in and he saw everything, as well as scouting the edges of the map just to make sure there's no Twilight Council. So the only option is Robotics Bay. This was delayed because MasTeR was intentionally waiting until the Overlord died, so there is that going for Ryu. But again, this should be for Disruptor. Colossus is more for memes. There are some players, some high quality players that do go for Colossus drops. Nina and Trigger are two to name a few. I think Astray does it as well, but there we go. It is going to be for Disruptors. Robotics, sorry. Gravitational drive, what's it called? War Prison Speed is on the way alongside those Disruptors. Meanwhile, Ryu should be getting ready at home. We have Spores on the way, we have Roaches as well. A great kind of way to try and shut this down is with Aspire. Meanwhile, Ryu with Pneumatized Carapace goes in with Overlord Speed and he sees everything. He now confirms, he now knows 100% that it is going to be a Disruptor drop. Again, you can kind of like cross off and you can make some assumptions, but it's always a good thing to double check. It's always a good thing to get confirmation, and now Ryu can rest easy for the most part. I say rest easy for the most part because at the end of the day, it's still going to come down to control. How good are the Novas going to be, and how good are the splits going to be? As Ryu confirms the Gateway Explosion, he also sees that there's no third base. MasTeR is going for a 2-base all-in. It isn't just Disruptors. He isn't just looking to harass. He's looking to reinforce with Stalkers and try and end the game. Oh boy. Looks like he's setting up for a third base though, so he isn't looking to go all in. He looks to have a backup plan, but regardless, like, oh god, no! Regardless, the disruptors are here. The first Nova goes off and it gets a juicy connection. 5 roaches go down. Not a good start here for Ryu. Meanwhile, the Prism goes into the main base as well. Going to be zoned out a little bit here by the Queens. But another Nova goes up and it goes into the middle line. Only gets 1 drone. And again, this drop is already working wonders right now. MasTeR still hasn't expanded, by the way, and Ryu sees this. He knows 2 base all in. If there was going to be a third, I thought it was just going to be for show, but yeah, we don't even have that. Like, MasTeR just intends to just straight up roll over his opponent. And that first Nova going off is already a great start. Meanwhile, second Nova goes off here. Oh, actually misses, doesn't connect with anything. Meanwhile, nice target fire on the Prism. Doesn't go down though, barely manages to survive. God, this is going to be so close. Such a clutch defense. We still have another disruptor shot going off. Connects on with only 2 lings. Despite that though, like, again, the threat of these disruptors just force so much unease from the Zerg. There we go, the second shot going off. Doesn't connect. Now Ryu can engage. What? Vile zoning out the army a little bit. Again, Ryu just buying as much time as possible. Another Nova going off, getting 2 Ravagers. And with the target fire, now there's only 1 disruptor left. But sometimes 1 is all you need. But not none. As now MasTeR is knocked down to 0 disruptors, only pure Blink Stalker. Without Lings though, it's still going to be really hard to defend. Ryu is forced to pull the boys. We still need a buffer for the Roach Ravager. Ryu can afford to lose workers. Can't afford to lose his army. But this is still looking to be a close defense. We have more reinforcements coming across the map. And it may just be too much here. Ryu is trying to get on top of these Stalkers, and it looks like he actually will. I assumed that these Zealots would have charged, but no, there is no Twilight Council. There are no upgrades. We still need a couple more reinforcements. We lost a lot of Queens there earlier, which means we are down an Inject as well at the natural base. But it looks like MasTeR has been pushed back. It looks like he's going to be forced to expand. Or will he? Let's find out. Prism going to try and pull apart the army. We do have a couple of Queens here to focus down the Prism. The Zealots are going to be doing so much damage. Oh no, we can't afford to lose these Queens. We need the Injects, Papi. We're down to 1 Queen. Meanwhile, as the Zealots get cleaned up, we have more Zealots on the way. The Prism is still alive. And without the Queens, there's very limited anti-air to try and zone the Prism out. What's important, as we see a bit of an all-army hockey, I don't blame him. MasTeR is still on 2 bases, by the way, so he still has to end the game. What's important, as we have a bit of a recall here on the Prism, MasTeR has resumed disruptor production. Oof. We've already got a lot. Meanwhile, MasTeR just completely backs off. He's giving Ryu a lot of time to breathe here, and I don't know if this is the wisest choice. Ryu's going to go for a drop, a link drop into the main. This will cripple the economy of MasTeR and force him all in, but he's already all in. You know? That's the thing. Like, can Ryu, like, deal with this army? Oh boy. This will mean that Ryu could afford to lose the 3rd base, though. A couple of biles are going to be able to zone away the army for the time being. Meanwhile, the drops are now hitting. Lings in the main, the Lings in the natural. No shield batteries, no cannons to defend. Recall was used earlier. There we go. Ryu just has to evacuate. He has to give up this 3rd base. Oh. He gets 1 disruptor. Lings actually being cleaned up, but not before 25 drones go down. Probes even. Ooh, with some keen eyes, or with detection, to be fair. Ryu does spot that observer. 3rd base goes down. Ryu gonna immediately try and expand here towards the south. And again, Ryu just has to take this slow. There's no reason to move off of creep. There's no reason to chase this army. You just have to take this slow and steady. Up. Meanwhile, Disruptor is actually going to rotate around to confirm that a third base is on the way. Oh, Ryu's being so greedy right now. He's getting an infestation pit. Gonna be working on a hive, working on vipers of all things. He's crazy. Meanwhile, a roach run by being sub, which means warping and zealots is not going to be enough to defend. I like how even though 25 probes went down, like MasTeR is still fully saturated. Like he's still mining efficiently, I should say. I mean, I guess no gases in the main. Meanwhile, we do see a forced cancel here at the 4th base. Roaches dropped into the main. MasTeR though still has a decent amount of army supply. And again, even though MasTeR is technically down in army, he still has 2 disruptors. Like he can still take a fight. 3 disruptors. There we go, another Nova going off. Getting 1 roach. Oh, that roach one is actually insanely giga exposed. Ooh, but somehow, some way, the Biles get the prism. There's no way to reinforce. Disruptors are going down. There's no way to save those disruptors either. Now the micro potential is cut in half here from MasTeR. Again, if he wasn't all in before, he's all in now. The miss rally, another disruptor goes down. And there is the final purification over. There's nothing to hold Ryu back. We have a couple of force fields to try and slow him down, but the Biles continue to rain down on everything. At the same time, roaches are wreaking havoc. G gets called. And Ryu takes the series 2-1. 1G? 1G. I mean, Ryu did 1G in game number 2, so it's fitting. GG, well played. Ryu takes the series. Whew, after defending a very intense 2-base all-in. Very intense.